take a bit of time today to share with you my best tools for navigating an overwhelming world. Now, normally I share these sorts of tools with people who identify as empaths or highly sensitive people. However, when we have something going on, like the COVID pandemic, it makes us all basically experience what it's like to live as an empath. That sense of feeling a lot of feelings that aren't yours, or being affected by the feelings of other people in a way that you're not used to. That sense of having a lot of pressure on your nervous system, a lot of stress on your system from sources of uncertainty and fear and not knowing why that's happening. All of this is a very fascinating parallel, and we can use all of the same tools and strengths and tips that we use for people who are highly sensitive. So let's dive in. There are 3 tools I want to share with you today. The first one is called What is True Now? The second one is Turn Down the Dial, and the third one is Use Your Bubble. All 3 tools can be used intermingly. You can use whichever ones you feel like using whenever. There's no sort of like rule or setup for it. These are just tools that individually are incredibly powerful. Incredibly powerful. I've seen them help hundreds and hundreds of people. Combined or in a row, they get even more powerful. So let's jump right in. The first one we're going to talk about is what is true now. And what is true now is incredibly important to help you stay out of the future, stay out of that fear and that overwhelming, oh my God, what's going to happen sensation that is really easy to get into right now. And, you know, it's wise to prepare. It's wise to be washing our hands. It's wise to use social distancing. It's wise to stay home if you're sick. And it's also wise to stay healthy. It's also wise to stay well. And one of the ways we can do that is by using what is true now. It supports lessening the load on our nervous system, decreasing the stress we're feeling. What is true now is where we're going to begin. What is true now is a tool that you can use anywhere, anytime. You can do it out loud or you can do it silently. It works either way. You can do it at a traffic light or you can do it with your kids. Either way, all these ways, they all work. Just ask yourself, what is true now? And you answer the question, what is true now, quickly and with things that are immediately adjacent to you. Immediately adjacent. So the way not to do what is true now is, what is true now, I wish the virus would go away, or what is true now, I hope no one gets sick, or what is true now, I want world peace. That is not how this tool is most effective in my experience. In my experience, the way this tool is most effective is you say, what is true now? I'm sitting down. What is true now? I have on a black shirt. What is true now? My scarf is red. What is true now? I have on glasses, right? Anything that is associated with your immediate body. And as those things, as you check through those things, I suggest doing it at least 5 times. What is true now? What is true now? What is true now? And do it fast. And as you do those things, what happens is you have to surrender that temptation to go into the future. It just falls away. And it connects you to your body. It connects you to this present moment, which calms your system down. And because all that busy brain stuff is cut out, what ends up happening is that there becomes this real invitation for new insights, new information, ahas, clarity, all of that to take the place of that busy, projecting into the future and feeling that sense of fear. So let's review. What is true now? I'm sitting down. What is true now? My shirt is black. What is true now? I'm talking. What is true now? The house is warm. So 5 to 7 times, something like that, quickly, and about things that are very close by. And what you want to do is, after you've done it 5 or 7 times, whatever number you like, but a short number, but not 2, right? Just feel how much calmer you are. And if all of a sudden your brain wants to jump out into the future again, what is true now again? You want to give your nervous system a tool for returning to the oasis of the fact that in this instant, it's calm. And you want to be able to return to that calm. Because even if you're dealing with traumatic things, even if you're struggling, even if you have a lot to deal with and a lot of things going on and your life is in upheaval, you still want to give your nervous system a place to take a break. Because it doesn't help, you know, it doesn't help to be freaked out and stressed out 24/7. That never helps. And the more you do what is true now, the easier what is true now gets and the better it works. So this is something to definitely invest in your practice of. Invest in the practice of. Now, the second tool I want to share with you today is turn down the dial. And turn down the dial, a teacher of mine taught me this tool many years ago. And in that, it's just this simple idea that actually really, really works. And I love the fact that it's simple and that it really, really works. The simplicity of it is this. Imagine you've got a big old dial on the front of you someplace, like the old-timey radio dials, right? And when you find yourself under a lot of energetic pressure, a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, a lot of whatever, ask yourself, from 1 to 10, what's my dial set at? And let yourself answer. And a lot of times you'll find you're like an 8 or a 9 or maybe even a 10 or maybe thinking about an 11. Whoa, I am really stressed. I'm really upset. I'm really pressured right now. What if I imagine just reaching up and turning that dial down to a 2 or a 3, maybe a 4? You'll be amazed how much difference that can make. One, because you're inquiring. You're asking yourself, it's a version of what is true now. What is true now? I'm a 10. Oh, okay. Do I want to make my decisions and take actions and care for my family and look after myself from I'm at a 10 stress level? Of course not. Nobody needs to do that. So instead, turn that dial down, turn that dial down, turn that dial down, turn that dial down. And it's a good thing to just check in randomly. What's my dial at? You know, if you're at home and you go out, what's my dial set at right now? And see if you can turn it down as you're walking to the car. See if you can turn it down as you make your way into the store or the school. Turning down the dial is such a powerful way to navigate stressful and difficult times. And it really does work. It's kind of a weird idea, but it actually really does work. Get to use your imagination. Try this with your kids. Try this with your kids. Okay? And the third tool I want to give you today is called Use Your Bubble. I love this one. Again, I got this one from one of my teachers when I was in my early 20s, I think, something like that, maybe in my late 20s. Anyway, I was a lot younger than I am now. And when she gave it to me, she always used a blue bubble. You can use any color, I suppose you want, but I happen to like the blue bubble because it's what I was taught, and it makes me feel, you know, connected to my teacher that taught me. So the blue bubble is the idea that you imagine the very, very smallest thing you can imagine. I like to think of like an electron. I like it to be really small. And you imagine that's in the middle of your chest, inside your body. And then you allow that to get bigger and bigger and bigger. So it goes from like an electron to a marble, to a golf ball, to a softball, to a soccer ball, to a beach ball, and it gets bigger and bigger until it's, you know, 3 or 4 feet outside of your physical body. And as this gets bigger and bigger and bigger, what you're doing is you're saying to it, push anyone else's energy that's in my body that I'm feeling, anyone else's feelings, anyone else's energy, anyone else's stress, anyone else's fear, anyone else's freak out that's affecting me, push that out of my body. Just push that out of my body. The second way you can use the bubble tool is sort of a shields up. I'm a sci-fi fan, so that's a Star Trek reference in case anybody doesn't know. And the idea is, oh my goodness, all of a sudden I'm in this situation that's difficult, and I just imagine the bubble going whoop and getting big, and then people's energy bouncing off of it. People's energy bouncing off of it. First step, we want to do what is true now. What is true now allows you to connect to your body and connect to the moment. The key is to do what is true fast and what is true about this current now moment, not big ideas, very current now moment. So what is true now? I'm sitting down. What is true now? I'm wearing a black shirt. What is true now? I'm wearing a red scarf. What is true now? My glasses are on. What is true now? I'm talking, right? Very, very fast and very close to what's going on with you. And what happens with that connects you to the now, calms your nervous system, and gives your nervous system an oasis to return to. The more you practice this, the better it works. Do it a lot. Do it anywhere. You don't have to say it out loud. You can say it internally. I've done it a lot in the car. It works really well. The second one is the dial tool. So ask yourself, from a 1 to a 10, where am I in the stressed out, overwhelmed, pushed around by other people's energy, worked up about the future situation I'm in? Where am I from a 1 to a 10? And if you find yourself at a number that you don't want to be at, imagine yourself turning your dial down to a 2, a 3, a 4, turning it down. So imagine yourself doing that. Check in on your dial when you leave the house, when you get out of your car, when you walk in or out of a building. Check in on it consistently, and this will become a really great way to monitor what's going on with yourself and also make choices about how you want to respond to what's going on with yourself. Really, really powerful. And finally, the bubble tool. Imagine the smallest little piece of, or smallest little something, smallest little shape you can deep inside your body, and allow that shape to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until it pushes out about 3 or 4 feet outside of your body. And as it gets bigger and bigger, it's pushing away everybody else's energy, stress, worries, complaints, concerns, so that again, you're returning to that oasis where it's only your energy in your nervous system, and it's only you making choices about how the energy of your nervous system gets used, or how your nervous system gets used. Remember, we don't let people borrow our nervous systems. Just like you don't let someone have all your money, or all your kids, or all of your stuff, you don't give them all of your nervous system either. You taking care of your nervous system is a huge, amazing, beautiful gift that you give the world. Let's give that gift to ourselves first, and then we emanate that energetically. We act as energetic leaders, offering that clarity and support to everyone around us.